Welcome to Richard Daily Reporter, your daily source for fast, fact-first political updates. If you're new here, subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss the news. Here is the report for today. World's central bankers fear being caught in the Fed's storm. What's happening? At Jackson Hole 2025, global central bankers voiced rare, public anxiety that political pressure on the U.S. Federal Reserve, especially calls from President Donald Trump for rapid rate cuts and attacks on specific Fed officials, could undermine the Fed's independence and spill over to their own institutions and economies. Reuters first reported the concerns, echoed across international outlets. ECB President Christine Lagarde stressed that central bank autonomy is critically important, warning that subverting the Fed would risk dysfunction and instability, sentiments that framed many hallway conversations at the summit. Why it matters globally. Spillovers from the dollar and U.S. rates. If political pressure bends the Fed's reaction function, the resulting uncertainty can transmit via a stronger, weaker dollar, capital flows, and financial conditions, amplifying volatility abroad, particularly in emerging markets. Research and Fed analysis highlight how U.S. policy shocks propagate internationally and how uncertainty itself is costly. Institutional precedent. If the world's most influential central bank is seen as politically steered, it weakens the norm of independence everywhere, raising inflation risk premia and market volatility well beyond U.S. borders. The Jackson Hole backdrop. This year's symposium, focused on labor markets and demographics, was overshadowed by the independence debate. Powell's remarks were read as a dovish tilt toward labor market risks, prompting several banks, Barclays, BNP Paribas, Deutsche Bank, to pull forward calls for a September rate cut, a shift that nudged the dollar lower in early trading. Who's worried, and about what? Europe. ECB fears a weakened Fed could unsettle bond markets and complicate Europe's disinflation path. Lagarde amplified the independence message in Washington-side comments. UK, BO, and Japan, BOJ, officials already juggling weak growth and aging workforce pressures see U.S. policy volatility as an added headwind for currencies and yields. Leaders Bailey and Ueda were front and center at Jackson Hole alongside Lagarde and Powell. Emerging markets. Heightened uncertainty around U.S. tariffs, growth, and rates tends to tighten global financial conditions and elevate stagflation risks, painful for funding and FX stability. Market and policy scenarios to watch next. Orderly easing, base case shifting in, Fed delivers a measured September cut, communicates clearly on the path. Global yields drift lower, dollar softens modestly, spillovers manageable. Political shock, risk case, open confrontation or personnel turmoil at the Fed spikes risk premia, dollar and rates whipsaw, outflows accelerate. Sticky inflation, alt case, if U.S. data ray heats, the Fed delays cuts, global conditions ray tighten, Europe, face imported financial stress. Thanks for watching Richard Daily Reporter. Subscribe, like, and share to stay ahead of the headlines. See you tomorrow.